freaking Minecraft! It really is Super Smash Brothers cards! Wow! Joker! Well, it looks like Mario and Sonic are fighting again in a brand new arena. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Super Smash Bros. Cinematic Universe Box Office Records. And it looks like Mario Kart World has no competition until September. And our film, a Minecraft movie, has reduced to 346 theaters. So if you ask me, the film is done next week, which I am eternally grateful for, because this film was dumb. It never should have been a success. Period. Now let's take a look at domestic. And the Minecraft movie has $423,579,000. By comparison, the Super Mario Bros. Movie got that much between April 22nd and April 23rd. That's week 3. A Minecraft movie is on week 10. The numbers are not even comparable. Now let's take a look at international. And a Minecraft movie has gone over $100 million compared to domestic. Now having $527,800,000. And the great shrinking continues with Sonic the Hedgehog 3, having $253,550,527. I don't get it. Now let's have a good look what's happening in worldwide. Now there's a good chance that this theme might become old-fashioned next week, but I seriously doubt it. Because we are still waiting on the next Direct for the Switch 1 and 2. Because certain games need their release dates, Nintendo, and we need to know that. And one publication said that the rumor is in the first 2 weeks of June we would have that Direct. It is now the beginning of week 2 of June. So, chop chop Nintendo, where is that release date? We need the cast for Zelda and Mario, please and thank you. We need to know if it's something we need to look forward to or skip entirely. So, what's it gonna be, Nintendo? Are you gonna make this for the fans? Or are you gonna make this for your shareholders? Because as of late, you are favoring your shareholders, apparently, by manipulating your own market, by making the prices of your games way too expensive, and for some reason, making Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour not part of the machine. I don't get your logic, Nintendo. It's a manual. Why do we have to pay for something that you meant for us to use to learn more about the system? Having Doug Bowser as a CEO was a mistake. Even our good friend Reggie Fils-Aimé thinks this is a mistake. Well, whatever happens, it's all going to come to a head next week in some way or another. Either this series or the Direct. So that means the penultimate numbers for a Minecraft movie are $951,379,000, and Sonic the Hedgehog 3 has $489,665,627. Now with that out of the way, we can press on to Secret Level Episode 15, featuring Head On and the Broderbund version, Hyper Head On. And I will see you at the upcoming films and shows. Now, we need to look at another game, one of which was actually developed in the United States for a change. This one was thought up by Lane Hawk back in 1978. Remember, That's when Sega bought Gremlin Industries, which would happen to be the conjoined company that would produce this title. This was Lane's idea. 2 cars continuously drive forward through rectangular channels in a simple maze. At the 4 cardinal directions are gaps where a car can change lanes. The player goal is to collect all dots in the maze while avoiding collisions with the computer-controlled car that is traveling in the opposite direction. This was the concept created for Head-On, like Head-On Collision. Though it was after the acquisition that veteran Sega engineer Shikanisuke Ochi had a look at his prototype and made a suggestion. At this point, it was hard to ignore the influence of Space Invaders after its concept of lives was introduced. Lane originally was using a timer, like most 70s games were, but it was time for another kind of risk to be used in the next version of Head-On. He preferred this change, as he said it was key to making the game big. Unlike Galaxy Wars, which only worked in one aspect ratio, this game had 2 different orientations for horizontal and vertical monitors. In Japan, the game was released with a vertical orientation to suit the cocktail table arcade cabinets popular in the East. You Asians and your vertical screens. Whereas in the United States, the game was displayed horizontally inside of a standard upright cabinet. Head-On was a commercial success in arcades. In Japan, it became Gremlin's most successful export and a highly influential game in the period after the Space Invaders boom. Though there's an interesting fact about this game. As its system board, the Sega Dual Game VIC CPU was copied for use in Hyankyo Alien. Since the original system board itself was a copy, Hyankyo Alien's system board was easily duplicated and many of the units distributed to arcade centers. This is what I meant when I said that Hyankyo Alien was a copy of a copy. The weird thing is that even when Head-On was developed in America, it came to Japan first in April of 1979, then was released in the States in June. It was Japan's 5th highest grossing arcade game of 1979, below Space Invaders, Galaxian, and Sega's Monaco GP. Head-On was also the 6th highest earning arcade video game of 1979 in the United States, below Space Invaders, Air Hockey, and Atari Football. Ports of Head-On for the Commodore 64 and VIC-20 were released in 1982. In Japan, the game was released for the PC-8801 and Sharp MZ computers. Back in the Broderbund dimension, their interpretation was of course called Hyper Head-On. Though in the conversion, the game wasn't so lucky. The background went from blue to black, the lines lost their color, the cars lost their sound as you can no longer hear the vehicles make a turn, and the only thing you can hear are the dots being collected. However, a few things have improved, such as the font of the overall game and the variety of colors you can select for your cars. There's also the matter of how much each dot is worth when you collect them. Curiously, the one called Hyper Head-On nets you 5 points each, whereas the original gets you 10. This was Broderbund's first maze game, and it was only released on the Apple II, copyrighted on October 20th, 1980. Yeah, I've decided, folks, that this is going to be the episode before the season finale, which is next week. Because frankly, I need more time to work on certain episodes of Secret Level Episode 15, and I have other projects I'd like to work on other than this. So, yeah, it was an interesting time looking at 2 movies back to back. Which means I'll still have content, but they'll be less frequent. In fact, to tell you the truth, next week we're going to have another visit from Game Center Arashi for Crazy Climber, which means I'll be uploading other episodes of the show for more content. Obviously, the series was not of my creation, but they help create context to understand what I'm getting at. So let's get back to the projects that gives this channel meaning. And those are the upcoming films made by Hollywood, based on video games, based off Smash Bros. Franchises. The first one being Super Mario World, coming out April 3rd of 2026 by Universal and Illumination, followed by Sonic the Hedgehog 4, coming out March 19th, 2027 by Paramount and Skydance. And then after that, we have Legend of Zelda movie, coming out mere days after on the 26th of March by Sony and Nintendo. After that, we have shows, with Secret Level Season 2 by the theoretical date of December 2025 by Amazon Prime. After that, we have the films in production with no release date, with Metal Gear Solid by Sony, Detective Pikachu 2 by Warner Brothers, Mega Man by Netflix, Pac-Man by Fox and Wayfarer Studios, Street Fighter by Sony and Legendary. After that, we have the shows in production with no release date, with the live-action Pokemon series featuring Red on Netflix, and the Minecraft animated series by Netflix, which has actually a rumored date of coming out in August. So let's see what's coming up with that. Honestly, I need to know who's writing it. I know it's going to be made by Wildbrain. I know it's going to be made by the same team that worked on Sonic Prime. I just don't know if it's any good. I also learned that they showed the show on NSC International Animation Film Festival, along with In Your Dreams, the Stranger Things animated series, Fixed, a new series called Long Story Short, Splinter Cell Death Watch, and Ghostbusters, as well as Magic the Gathering, Horton, and the Asterix and Obelix series, and the Incompetent Devil May Cry series. Thank God Dante hasn't been added to the roster yet. So, maybe we'll get more information on the series soon? Hard to tell. And we are done. If you like what you see, press like, subscribe, and smash that bell in order to get notifications on a channel where everything grows on you.